If you didn't know, Steam Nextfest is a yearly event hosted on the online video game storefront Steam, where indie developers get to show off demos for their upcoming games. And I usually miss it. But this year, I really wanted to check it out. A few games I was really excited to see had demos this year, and I thought, hey, I want to get into this YouTube thing. Why not make this my first video? Nice and low stakes, hopefully, and I get to talk about video games, which is one of the only things I'm even remotely capable of doing. And because I'm very on top of things, I started making this video on the 14th, halfway through Nextfest. So I'm probably not going to be able to get to everything I want to talk about, but that's okay. I decided to make this video specifically about one of the games I was already the most excited about. So, Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. I was really looking forward to Flintlock. The reason I wanted to check out Nextfest this year was to get a chance to play it, and, you know, I'm glad I did. I didn't know that much about it. I tried going into it, and indeed all the demos I want to play, with as little forewarning as possible. All I knew was that it was brought to us by New Zealand developer A44, whose previous game was Ashen. I knew it had a lady with an axe, a gun, and there was a blue fox spirit thing, and they sure were gonna kill some people. I was hoping for a sweet action-adventure hack and slash, so imagine my disappointment when I discovered that it was a Souls-like. Actually, you don't have to imagine it. Here, listen. Souls. Okay. On reflection, maybe it shouldn't have shocked me that the Ashen folks made another Souls-like. See, Souls-likes almost demand to be mastered in order to get the most out of them, and I just don't think I'm cut out for it. My reflexes haven't been what they used to be for years. I'm sick of stamina meters. I want to cancel out of animations, like a normal person. I don't want to lose everything because I died. I don't want to spend an hour relishing the smooth, refreshing taste of my healing item du jour. Now, to be fair to Flintlock, it doesn't have a stamina meter. That's the only thing it doesn't have. Blocking, parries, souls, Bloodborne's pistol attack, bonfires, losing souls on death, having to recollect them, mistake punishing combat, even the same UI, and I have to ask, does this actually make for a more interesting, more fulfilling game? Maybe A44 thinks so, but I think this could have been a hack and slash and lost nothing. It would be more fun for me, at least. I mentioned the UI. Let's talk about it. Your health bar is at the top left. There it is. It's a tiny, pale red bar that dissolves into transparency the lower your health gets. Below it, in the middle left, is your combat score tracker thing. Bottom left is your equipment, and at the very bottom of that, shifting between white and muted golds, and grey, is your ammo. At the top is your compass, at the top right is quest info, and at the bottom right is essentially your mana. All these things are about as far away from what you need to concentrate on as they could possibly be, and all of it is useful information, especially your health. Like, I barely used magic because the resource was so far away from everything I needed to look at that I basically forgot about it. There's this thing that RoboQuest does where it puts cooldowns on certain abilities, like your signature attack and your jetpack, right under your reticle. And that's so useful because in the flow of combat, that's information that informs what's going to happen in the next 6 seconds or less. But the other nice thing about RoboQuest's UI is that it's stark. Your health is obvious at a glance, your ammo counter is huge, and anything that you need to know in the moment that's not in the middle of your screen is found in one of two places at the bottom of your screen. Because it's designed to be such a readable UI, you don't need to look that closely towards the lower right to know if your health is fine or not fine. It changes quite visibly between green and yellow and orange and red. Actually, I think it's just orange. Everything about your ultimate ability at the bottom of the screen is flush with your reticle, so you only need to glance down, and See that little icon? That tells me what element is currently having its damage boosted by my class ability. It didn't need to tell me that. That information is technically available to me if I look at the much larger icon below it, but I don't have to look that far down because it's designed to be as readable as reasonably possible, compared to Flintlocks. Your ammo count is difficult to discern at a glance, your health fades into the background, and yeah, I stopped noticing the massive glowy purple diamond because it's miles away from everything else. Also, the tiny glowing triangles are what you use for the standard magic fox attack, which is what you're mostly going to be doing in combat. I had actually forgot that that attack even had ammo until I was doing this record. Also, there's subtle audio-visual feedback for taking damage. At least that's what it feels like. In RoboQuest you get a screen effect and a noise that's not too loud but also impossible to ignore. In Flintlock, the sounds are quite muted. No, the problem isn't the sounds are muted, the problem is there's no distinct get hit sound. It all just fades into the medley of clashes and swings and stuff. I only just picked up on that watching this sequence back. Anyway, and the visual effects? Well, I only noticed it going back over my footage. There is a red border there. I don't know how I missed it. So if I can provide any feedback, it's make the UI easier to see, and also have an option to put it around the middle of the screen, maybe. I imagine I'm in the minority for wanting something like that, so making it an option is ideal. Also let me know when I've been hit. That would be nice. Flintlock has a story. Typically of the genre though, it's a little bit opaque. Here's what I've managed to put together. Our protagonist, Nor, is a soldier in a war against the undead and the gods themselves, apparently. There's also something called Dawn, and it's unclear to me if that's supposed to be heaven, their victory condition in the war, the literal time of day dawn, the country realm of the protagonist, or a combination of all four. Nor kicks down the front door of the door, which is where all of these undead creatures are coming from. She then proceeds to get Blaskoviched and wakes up in a cave, and it is here that we meet our second main character. We finally have a name for the blue fox dragon spirit, Enki, which just makes me think of Enkidu from Sumerian mythology. Maybe that's what they're going for. He's a god, potentially a minor one, but the way he says...
There are lesser and greater gods.
Makes me think that he's actually one of the big ones. He brought Nor back from the brink to be his chosen, I guess.
Alone, you stand no chance against a god. Let me help you. Help me seal him away. Stem the tide of destruction. It's the least you can do.
At least, that's how I interpreted that conversation they had. And together they're going to send these gods back to their room to think about what they've done, and so Nor can make up for what she inadvertently did. Nor doesn't seem like she has much going on. That might be wrong. I did only play like 90 minutes, but considering we get the line...
Killing's dirty work, Enki. I only do it because I have to.
I see. Then how should I kill Ramuha when we get to her?
Quick as you can. Back of the head or straight to the heart. No one deserves to suffer.
No matter what?
No matter what.
After this...
Your kind ravaged my city. My world. Killed everyone I've ever loved. Every breath I take from here on will be spent exacting my revenge on the gods. What's to stop me starting with you?
Nothing.
Death to gods.
I don't know. She seems pretty hype to kill some things. Also, it really doesn't work in a game like this. Necessarily, she'll end up killing the same people over and over and over again to get anything done. Also, she's doing it with an axe that sets people on fire. I don't buy her wanting to minimize suffering. And that's about all I've got for Flintlock. I wanted to make it to what I assume would be the first boss, but I just couldn't work up the enthusiasm. I wished I liked my time with this game. I love the technological period it's in, but... Can you give me your British, sir? Or madam? As you can tell, after my last death, I just didn't have it in me anymore. This stuff I didn't really talk about, like there's a liberating town mechanic, but that showed up for me in moments before I was whisked away to another part of the world. There's upgrades and collecting resources for those upgrades, but they're the most boring interpretations of both of those ideas you could possibly have. The mobility is actually pretty fun, I gotta be honest. I just don't see myself going back to it when it's finally out in July. And that sucks. Maybe they'll add a Darksiders 3-esque mode for people like me, and I would love and appreciate that, but I'm not holding out hope. I'm sorry, A44, this one just isn't for me. Can we fucking talk about how cool Nor looks, though? Like, she's really hot. Why do people not like her? I don't understand.